Looking for a fun and simple holiday treat that you can bake this season? The Sweet Creations by GoodCook Tree Pan is your new best friend. Let me show you how to bake a beautiful tree cake in a matter of minutes using this incredible tool. A single box cake mix fits this pan perfectly, so we're going to start with a 15.25 ounce chocolate cake mix, though you can use any flavor of cake that you like. I'm going to go ahead and put the cake mix into a bowl. And we're not going to follow the directions on the back of the box exactly. We're going to make just a few minor tweaks so that this cake fits perfectly into our pan. We'll start by adding 3 eggs. And then we're going to add 7 tablespoons of butter. It's not quite a half of a cup because what we want to do is reduce the amount of oil in this cake ever so slightly so that our cake fits really nicely and doesn't burble over the edges of the pan. I'm using softened butter because it makes the mixing here easier. And finally, I'm going to cut the called for 1 cup of water to just a ½ cup of water, again because we want a nice dense cake. Okay, time to mix it up. And I'm just gonna mix it until it's nice and smooth. I actually don't mind if there are a few little lumps in my batter. I have found over the years that not over mixing your cake batter makes for a much better textured cake once it's baked. And now for one of the most important parts. In order to get a perfect cake, we need to make sure that it comes perfectly out of the pan. And so we are going to very generously spray the interior cavities with a nonstick baking spray. You can find baking spray next to the nonstick sprays in your grocery store. The only difference here is that it has flour added. So alternately, you can generously spray this with grease or oil and then flour it. But I love this because in one step, you can do it all. All right, time to put our batter into the pan. So what I'm gonna do is actually start by filling in this larger cavity first. Leave this little top ball free because we're gonna fill that in later to make sure that section doesn't overbake. I'm gonna fill this lower cavity until there's about 1 inch left right around the rims, and then I'm just going to gently spread this batter out and make sure that we have a nice even layer. And remember, we're keeping this upper portion unfilled because we'll fill it in later, so it doesn't have to cook quite as long. It's a little bit smaller of a section, so we don't want to overbake it. With my oven preheated to 350 degrees, I am going to go ahead and bake this portion of the cake for 11 minutes. At the 11-minute mark, gently pull the oven rack out ever so slightly. Place a dollop of batter into that upper area, just enough to fill it up, and then return the cake to the oven for 17 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Time to let your cake cool overnight. This is going to make it really easy to assemble in the morning. Now that the cake is cooled, use a serrated knife to level the top of the cake. With the cake leveled, it's time to flip over our pan and the cake will come right out of the pan just like that. Look how cute this is. Okay, it's time to frost and we're gonna start by adhering the 2 pieces together. To do this, I'm just gonna very gently take my cake and place a nice thick layer of frosting on the inside. I'm using store-bought frosting, but you can also use your favorite buttercream as well. All right, with a nice thick layer of frosting now, we can just gently push the 2 pieces together. And look at that. Our Christmas tree is coming together beautifully. I'm gonna go ahead and just place a thin crumb coat of icing on top. What this does is it just holds down any of the outside crumbs with a really thin layer of icing so that I can place any decorative elements right on top. And now the way that you decorate this is up to you. I'm just gonna use a spatula to create a really nice wavy coat here. And then we're gonna decorate it with some color-coded candies. And there you have it. The Sweet Creations by GoodCook Tree Pan makes an absolutely adorable tree cake that is sure to take the cake at your next holiday celebration.